he'll insult anybody. He's proven to be a cyberbully. I mean, he's crass. He insults people.
But
he'll do it left, right, and center, small, big.
He's doing it to allies, Mika. He's doing it to allies.
So wait, that's what's going on in your head right now? You're like the worst couple to be stuck with at a wedding reception. You stink! Okay, it's been a tough week. Harvey hung around too long and hurt way too many people in Texas. We've seen the images of houses reduced to piles of lumber, boats wading through intersections, people wading waist-high in water, carrying what few possessions they can, keeping the kids and the pets calm. We've watched on our TVs, safe and dry in our homes, and counted our blessings, donated a few bucks. We've watched rescue after rescue and saw the heroes at work. The Coast Guard, the National Guard, and my favorite, the Cajun Navy. They're all the opposite of me, resourceful and helpful. And as we watch these stories of heroism and bravery, we started to unite a little bit as a nation, didn't we? All that divisiveness we've seen all year felt small. But just as the heroes took over the spotlight, the zeros tried to sneak in and steal their thunder. Like that professor who tweeted Harvey was a, quote, karma for Texas voting Republican. Then he was fired. Karma works both ways, pal. And the head of the Women's March directing any funds raised to go only to non-whites. A textbook lesson in turning a unifying moment into divisive conflict. What a loser. And, of course, those who complained about the First Lady's shoes. Those are the zeros. And it sucks that the media gave them any attention at all when there are plenty of heroes that deserve a salute. Like the mayor of Rockport, who told his town before the storm hit, anyone who doesn't evacuate better write their social security number on your arm so we can identify your body. Guess what? People got the hell out. They're alive. Their homes are gone. That was tough love from the mayor, and it was necessary. Which brings me to President Trump. One CNN reporter's assessment of him. Here it is earlier this week.
His words simply did not match the devastation of the pictures. He did not offer any hugs. He did not offer much hope. He talked about businesses more than individual people. That empathy, Aaron, did not seem there.
Oh, my God. I don't care about his empathy. He wasn't elected to be warm and fuzzy. You want that? Buy a bunny slipper, you jackass. That's it. Trump knows how to sign his name on a disaster relief bill, and that's all that matters. And besides, he pledged $1 million of his own cash. The people of Texas need that more than they need words. But I'm sure the left will say that's not enough, just more zeros trying to break up the unity. Okay, more heroes. This guy in his boat rescuing people. This guy in his boat rescuing people. This guy with a horse rescuing other horses. Take a look at this line of trucks with boats hitched to the back, just waiting to help. You're a hero. You're a hero. You're a hero. Churches turned into shelters. Mosques turned into shelters. Furniture stores turned into shelters. That's Jim McIngvale, who opened up his furniture store to displaced residents. He's better known to locals as Mattress Mac, and not for the usual reasons. He does his own commercials.
Gallery save you money.
Take it away, George. How about a friendly tussle of who sits in the recliner, Mac, huh?
Well, Chuck, how about it? I get another one out here instead. You see, at Gallery Furniture, we've got a great selection of Franklin recliners. We have swivel rocker recliners. We have Wallery recliners. We have a fabulous selection of leather recliners.
Now you're Recliner Mac. But you're all right. All right. A floating army of fire ants? You're not all right. You're scary. Get the hell out of here. More heroes. Governor Greg Abbott, you kept your state and your president well informed. Brock Long, you've been the head of FEMA for only a few weeks, but they say you're the only man for a crisis like this. Me? I just like saying Brock Long. Truck long. J.J. Watt, who raised $15 million so far for the victims. And, of course, the truck. And not just any truck, although all trucks rule, but the monster truck. Sure, mock this often maligned mode of transport. But when there's a flood, you better hope the rough-looking guy next door, the guy you made fun of because his truck had 4 feet of clearance, axles taken from school buses, and Terra tires lifted from fertilizer spreaders, he's still willing to truck you and your collection of superhero figurines to safety. I've yet to see a Prius pull anyone ashore. By the way, that truck you just saw, another truck pulled up to help that truck, help the first truck. So that's another truck, free to pull out another truck. This could go on forever. A daisy chain of trucks. There's nothing trucks can't do, or Americans, or Texans, which are Americans, with trucks and guts. Then there are the folks who aren't in their homes tonight. As dopes in Los Angeles quarrel over renaming Columbus Day, these folks are worried about the next day and the day after that. They don't know when they're going to be back home. Thanksgiving, Christmas, who knows? So, will we still be shining the light on them then, or will the zeros have once again divided us? Let's welcome tonight's guest. Superman now wants to play him in a movie. He's tough as nails, but pretty as a pedicure. The actor Dean Cain. She's so bright she needs sunglasses when looking in the mirror. Former White House National Security Council staffer Jillian Turner. She's like my favorite kind of blood test, always negative. Co-host of the Fox News Specialist, Kat Timpf. And he shaves with a chainsaw, former bodyguard, and my massive sidekick, Tyrus. All right, Dean, trucks, in my opinion, are just cars with big hearts.
I agree with you.
Yeah. What struck you this week and through all of this? What were you thinking?
Well, I know a lot of people in Texas, and I'm not surprised that they got together the way they got together and they pulled together, and nobody cared about, you know, what color you were or who you voted for or any of that stuff. Texans are a rare breed. They are Americans with trucks and guts. They really are. They're fantastic. So it surprised me in no way, shape, or form that they came together. I just was very happy to see it happen and not hear so much of the divisiveness and actually focus on what brings us together.
It wiped out the entire media narrative about how they portray this country. And because you cannot deny the visuals, Jillian, when you're watching it, you're looking up there and you go, you can't come up with a negative story. There's not a single example of man versus man or woman versus woman. Everybody was in it together, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was nice to see that at the end of such a, you know, just horribly traumatic week. I felt like today, as we get a little bit like further into the rescue and relief part of all of this, you know, the storm has stopped crashing on people's shores right now. This story of like American resilience has been emerging the last 24 hours, and it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Except for the one professor.
Kat, you have an extremely cold heart, but I'm assuming that it had warmed this week and that you even felt emotion.
Yeah, I felt emotion this week, not to brag, but and I really agree with you, Greg, on the criticisms of, well, President Trump didn't show any like empathy. You know, the only time empathy's ever been useful to me is like, if I'm still a kid and you're my dad and I can act sad and capitalize on that so you'll feel bad at me, like bad for being mad at me.
Right.
Which is actually kind of how I also act with everybody that I've dated, which my therapist has been out of town for a long time, but it seems like I'm doing fine on myself figuring it out. But
That's
you
good.
ask these people, do you want me to feel bad for you, or do you want a house, and do you want me to talk about how we're going to rebuild your city and make sure that we're there for you and actually provide results? I think they probably would say house.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think empathy helped much in Katrina when when we saw Nagin and Governor Blanco cry and rage and were so incompetent. Tyrus, you've done some stuff to help out people. I saw some pictures.
Yes.
You did?
What I find
Yes.
Tyrus, my question to you is, we're seeing so many authentic victims who aren't taking a victim stance. In the last year, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, we've seen people act as victims who aren't victims. People who are victims of microaggressions and so on.
Right.
In this case, these are people who are actual victims, and they're not acting like victims. They're just getting it done.
Because it's not in front of the camera. It's not fake believe. It's not, I'm going to drop on the ground when the camera and scream, "Ah, Trump's president."
Yeah.
It's not, it's real people going through some real stuff. And if I'm stuck on a roof, I don't give a damn what you think. Get me off it. And when you get me off it, I'm going to say thank you, probably hug you. And the fact, if you pulled my big ass up on a helicopter, I'm going to be so proud of you. The point is, like,
they would need 2 helicopters.
Donald Trump did something. He gave $1 million of his own money out of his pocket. He said, I don't care what the bill, how much it's going to cost, the money is there.
Right.
Damn, everything else is going on. We're going to take care of you. So he did his job. I don't need a crying ass president. What are you going to do? I need to be like, oh, yeah, we're underwater. All right, let's get some fans. Let's get some stuff going. Let's get some money. Let's get things and get this done. He just said, we're going to get it done. I'm good with that. And as far as like, yeah, I sensible portions donated 10 grand. We put 5,000 to the Cajun Navy, and we did to Red Cross, and then we went and we bought Kmart out.
Yeah.
We loaded it up and we just sent it out. Like, and everybody, people that were shopping, I was like, instead of maybe getting those, you know, goldfish, why don't you get something and send it to Houston? Yeah. And apparently, when I was telling them to, they were like, yeah, maybe I will. That's a good idea. I was going to do it, and then, you know.
You're like a reverse mugger.
Yeah.
You show up, you go, I want
you
that.
You gonna donate, bro?
Yeah, you're gonna donate. Like,
you know,
they can't call the cops on you because you're actually not taking it for yourself.
No, and the cool thing about this is America. Listen, if you tell us there's a flood coming in 6 years, we'll be like, all right, okay, cool, whatever. When it hits, and when America, we get punched in the mouth, we react and we work together. So when we have things that happen in this country, nobody says, listen, all the white folks, get on. You two, you stay there. Sorry, bruh. This is a white helicopter. We don't have issues like that when the things really count. But when you got idle... You gotta
One last point. I've noticed Harvey is quite a contrast from social networks like Twitter, which Twitter encourages antagonism because it's not face-to-face. So you can say awful things to complete strangers. Harvey is the face-to-face interaction that shows that humans are actually face-to-face. Cooperation is necessary for compassion. And it's such a striking difference when you see that and you compare it to something like Twitter or Facebook where people are just brutal to each other. It shows you why it's necessary to talk to people and not just, you know, flame them, I suppose.